Have you ever walked into a store before, looked online for a game, and you're like, that looks kind of cool, but you just don't buy it for whatever reason? Maybe it's too expensive or you think it's going to drop in price later, and you never get around to it. And then a few years down the road, you see a video like this where people are talking about like hidden gems that you gotta find. You gotta buy these hidden gems on a console. And you go to buy the game and it's like 30 times more expensive than it was previously, when you already thought it was too expensive. And you think to yourself, my God. Now it's the end of convention season. I just got done going to all of the conventions for this year. I speak to tons of people. They tell me what they're looking for. I ask them what they're looking for. And you know what 3 consoles are the most popular right now to collect for? The Xbox 360, the PS3, and the Wii. We did a video on the 360, we did one on the PS3, and now it's the Wii's turn. I think the Wii is slept on. It has a ton of terrible games, but it has a lot of really good ones as well. I have not looked up the prices of these games, but they are all games that people have told me they are looking for and they cannot find. This video is not made as an investment guide. This video is made for gamers and collectors to find games they may have missed. As a matter of fact, these are 7 Wii games that you should probably buy before it's too late. I am RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly. Let's dive right in. There were 3 games released for the Wii in Japan and in Europe that were renowned and beloved, and they just decided not to release them in the United States. They already had English translations because they were released in the UK, but Nintendo didn't want to bring them here for whatever reason. So a campaign was started called Project Rainfall. And it was all about getting Nintendo to release these games in the United States, and it was successful. I believe they were only sold at GameStop, and the only way to get them was to pre-order them, and then Nintendo was going to print like 1 copy for every pre-order or something like that. 3 games. Well, they were all pretty successful. As a matter of fact, one of them spun out into a giant franchise, and it was Xenoblade Chronicles. The second game is an RPG. It's one of my favorites on the entire system, and hardly anybody talks about it. Why? Because they only printed it that one time, and everybody that wanted it got it. You just don't see it anywhere. And it's The Last Story. And yes, I have the day 1 edition with the soundtrack and the art book and all that good stuff. Now, it's been a good long while since I played this game. As a matter of fact, the last time I played it was the week it came out, and I did beat it. What I remember about The Last Story is it's an RPG with an interesting cast of characters, but it's very dark for an RPG. It is a military turmoil and political struggle kind of game where like 2 warring factions are against each other or something like that, and you're caught up in the middle of it. The graphics are like very washed out and almost bleached looking, much like the cover of the game. Now, this is an action RPG where you can move freely around the map and attack enemies and position yourself. It's all about the tactics of the game. As I recall, I believe the other characters in your party move on their own. Maybe you can switch between them. It doesn't matter. It was a fun game. It felt a little hack and slashy. And when it came out, I remember people praised it for the gameplay and the story and the characters, but they're like, the graphics of it don't look good. It's the Wii. It doesn't look as good as the games on the Xbox 360 and PS3. Because of course it doesn't. The freaking Wii was basically just like a GameCube with waggle controls on it. But this game was great. It was super memorable, and I believe I played just straight through it in an entire week. For a while there, you could grab it pretty regularly. I know it's still out there, but it's getting hard to find these days. I have no idea what it's worth, but it's a must-play RPG on the Wii. If you like RPGs or you like action RPGs, The Last Story is like one of the best ones, if not maybe like in the top 5 on the entire console. Back in the generation of the Xbox 360 and the Wii and the PS3. Back in this generation is when digital games really came to the forefront. You could go on these online marketplaces, purchase little small games for just a few dollars, get some fun out of them. It didn't cost you too much before you moved on to the next big AAA game. Well, there was a legendary series that appeared on the Xbox 360. I think it was on the PS3, it was definitely on the Wii, and it was called Bit Trip. And the first one was called Bit Trip Runner. This is a really lo-fi rhythm running game. You could jump, you could slide, you could punch, and you made your way through the level. It was wildly successful. So the Bit Trip developers were like, let's use this same engine and this same gameplay idea and make a different type of game, which they did. And it was successful. And they did it again, and it was successful. And they did it again, and it was successful. And they did it 6 times, but it was like 6 different downloadable games. Well, guess what? They put them all on a compilation, and it only exists on the Wii. And it's Bit Trip Complete. And I'm just gonna read you what it says on the back of the case, because they can say it better than me. The must-have retro arcade rhythm music series. It has Bit Trip Beat, Bit Trip Core, Bit Bit Trip Void, Bit Trip Runner, Bit Trip Fate, Bit Trip Flux. It got a 9 out of 10 from Destructoid, saying one of the most unique and engaging video game series ever created. Nintendo Life gave it a 9 out of 10. If you have a Wii and like music and or video games and or masterpieces, buy it. Slant Magazine gave it a perfect 5 out of 5. This is one of the best compilations you can buy ever, because every one of these games is an absolute banger. And the fact that they're all on the Wii, and I believe this was like 20 bucks when it was new, it's a must buy. It's a must buy, and you just never see it. I don't think it's too expensive. Then again, it might be a ton. it might be a ton. The Bit Trip series of games is still going hard now. They're still putting them out on the Switch. People one day are going to want to get all of them, and this is going to be the one that they've got to have. This is like the original Holy Grail version of it. This is probably given as a Christmas gift to a bunch of little kids, because it was cheap and it was colorful, and they didn't play it or they didn't get it, they didn't understand, they trashed it, they threw it out, they traded it in, and it's gone. But there's gonna be a handful of people out there that played this game like crazy, and they're gonna want it. Now, I have heard my entire life not to be cheap with things that go between you and the ground. Shoes, tires, don't go cheap. The other thing, mattresses and chairs. If it holds you up, you need to spend a little bit of money. Well, guess what? I have spent thousands of dollars over my life on freaking desk chairs, and almost every single one of them sucked so bad that they were just literally miserable. I feel like they've gotten worse and worse and worse, which is why I want to tell you about today's sponsor, FlexiSpot. Now, FlexiSpot sent me their new C7M chair. Now here I have talking points sent to me from FlexiSpot. Just the things that they want me to mention and that I don't forget to mention, right? Like what if I forgot to talk about the footrest? Okay, it's just a checklist, all right? But the first thing they say is, talk about your old chair versus their new chair. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The last chair I had was a FlexiSpot chair. It was the C7, which I've been using for the last 2 years. Every time I sit down at my desk to play a game or edit, I've been using a FlexiSpot chair. And so when they're like, talk about how you don't like your old chair, I can't say that. I loved the old chair. It was the best desk chair I ever owned. And this is an upgrade from that. Now the new chair, the C7M, has some extra features that I think elevate it above just the standard C7 I have been using. It has an adjustable headrest, which I absolutely love, and I feel like it's a necessity now in any chair I use. It has a fantastic lumbar support, which has now become also another necessity I have to have. The C7M backrest not only does it move up and down, but the freaking lumbar support is locked in place right where you need it. It's not gonna move and it's gonna support your back. It's essential to have. It is essential. Anybody that sits in a desk chair will tell you that. The seat is adjustable and it slides back and forth so you can have the perfect depth that you need for sitting comfortably. It also has a mesh surface on it, so it flexes and conforms to your butt. So you don't have like some hard piece of wood that's under the padding. You know, the padding that always wears out and you're just sitting on like basically a piece of plywood. You don't have that here. It has what FlexiSpot calls a 5D armrest, and it's good. It's so good it transcends space and time. But this is my favorite upgrade over my old FlexiSpot chair. The armrests on that one moved back and forth. Sometimes in my live stream, I'll play guitar, and when I hold the guitar in my lap, those armrests got in the way a little bit. I'm used to playing guitar in a chair that has no arms on it. Well, these move in every configuration you could ever imagine. The chair reclines back, just like the old one I had, and I love it. It's great for gaming, and it has a footrest that slides out and flips up, turns it almost into like a recliner chair, and that's like my preferred way to sit and play games. Like I said, I use this chair for a lot of different situations: gaming, editing, working, playing guitar, and it has been comfortable in every one of those, and I love it. And I don't have to worry about it breaking on me because it has a 10-year warranty, and if you don't like it, it's got a 30-day return policy. Use my code C730 to get an additional $30 off. It's already a great price, but $30 more is an even better price. Check the link in the description. Or if you want to try out something a little cutting edge, check out the C7 Morpher, which has an upgraded and totally different back support and lumbar support. Thanks so much, FlexiSpot, for sponsoring this video. I love your chair, and I love the old one too. Let's talk about some more games. I recently did a video where I talked about the hardest game on every console. It kind of blew up. Thank you for that. But one of the games that was nominated for the Sega Saturn was a Japanese-only game called Baroque. This game was released in the United States on the PS2, and both of those games are like hen's teeth rare. They are expensive and hard to find, but what most people don't know is it was also released on the Wii. There it is, in the United States. And when you see this, Atlas, you know the game's gonna be sought after. Now, I've only played Baroque a little bit in my life, and I was very confused about what it was. This is back before the roguelite genre renaissance came to be. I thought this was just like a run around hacking, slashing RPG. I just kept dying. I didn't know what was going on. Turns out, Baroque is a roguelike. You're supposed to die. You have different runs. You advance the game by dying. And I should have known that because right on the back of the box it says, death is not the end. Now, they call it a hardcore dungeon crawling RPG. And that is true. It is a dungeon crawler. It is definitely hardcore. Like, this is a hard game. So the way the game works is you basically die. And each time you die, it reveals more about the world around you. Now, you're not supposed to be able to just plow through this game. If you've never played a roguelite before, the weapons are randomized, the potions, everything is randomized. You don't know what it is. But dying reveals more about the game. So the more you persevere, the better you get at the game, because you know more information. Now, there's tons of customization, tons of different ways to build your character, tons of different ways to interact with the items, synergies, all that sort of stuff. Everything you want in a roguelike. There's even multiple endings to the game. These are designed to be played through multiple times. And each time, with the knowledge you've gained and the new things you've discovered and the new things you've unlocked, you become more and more powerful. We all know how roguelites and roguelikes work. Well, this was one that came out in an era when nobody knew what they were. So it slipped under the radar. People did not buy it. People didn't know it existed. And the people that did were very confused by the mechanics. But now everybody loves roguelikes. People make tier lists of all the best roguelikes you have to play. And I see the same games over and over again, but I see them expanding out. But you know what I don't see mentioned a lot? Baroque, until recently, where I saw it started appearing on a bunch of lists of roguelikes that are on other systems you may not know about. I've had more people message me after my video about the hardest game on each console came out. This one's not just sitting around everywhere. It's definitely one you should grab. If it looks good to you, get it. Now, I remember back when the Wii first came out, I got one and I started collecting for it right away. And I remember looking up lists of the best games, the must-have games you needed on the system. And this game appeared on every single list until it just didn't. People just stopped talking about it. But it's Zack and Wiki. I remember trying to find this game. And when I would look for it at like GameStop, it was like $35 or $40 when every other Wii game was like $20. It was always expensive and difficult to find, and at the time, no one thought about buying games on Amazon. You just like went to a store and bought them. And I remember trying to find it for like a couple of years. It wasn't until after the PS4 came out that I found my copy. And I think I found it at a pawn shop for like 10 bucks, and I remember being thrilled about it. So I was like, finally, I found it at a discount. I haven't seen it since then. If I have, maybe it's just once. And I'm out at game stores all the time. I'm at conventions all the time. I don't see this. But I've started hearing people mention it again. Well, what is this game? Well, it's like a puzzle game. It's an exploratory adventure puzzle game where you play as this little pirate and his sidekick, and you just solve puzzles. It's almost like a cozy game. And I think that's what people liked about it. During this time, everybody was getting into Call of Duty. They were getting into hardcore games, but a cartoony, laid-back sort of puzzle game that was slower paced, well, that wasn't something you saw every day. So it stood out in people's minds. Now, it was put out by Capcom. Back then, Capcom and Konami would put out a lot of experimental games, and this one was definitely designed to be a children's game. But you know what else I heard? The game's kind of hard. The puzzles are a little tough, possibly too tough for a kid to be good at, which makes me think they spent a lot of time with it, or they got frustrated and got rid of it. A lot of those kids now are adults. They're gonna wanna go back and finally finish this game. They're gonna wanna have this game. I'm sure they loved it, and they're just like, why couldn't I beat it? I should give that another shot. Well, they're gonna have to go on eBay and grab it. They have to go to a convention and grab it. They're gonna have to go to a game store and grab it. Surprise, surprise, they're not gonna find it. Zack and Wiki is one of the best games on the Wii. People love it. You need to play it. You need to have it in your collection. Grab it before it's too late. One of the very first downloadable only games I played was on the Xbox 360, and I was mega addicted to it. And it was Puzzle Quest. Puzzle Quest is a match 3 game like Bejeweled, but it's an RPG. So you travel around a map like any other RPG, you get into random encounters, and the fighting takes place using this match 3 system. And I loved this game. I got every achievement on it. I played the absolute crap out of it. But I was always upset that it never had a physical release. How could they do this to one of my favorite games on the Xbox 360? They never put it out physically? Well, guess what? They did. It came out on the PS2. It came out on the DS, I think, but it also came out on the Nintendo Wii. This is one of the most addictive and memorable games from that entire generation, and I'm so glad that I found out 10 years after it came out that it was on the flippin' Wii. I picked up my copy. It was very inexpensive, but I remember I was out hunting when I found it, and the other guy I was with was like, I didn't even know that came out. If that had come out, I would have grabbed it. At RetroRick's convention last year, I was walking around in his store and someone asked me to recommend any Wii game. And you know the first one that came to my mind was Puzzle Quest. They had one copy. The guy grabbed it. Heck yeah. At the convention a few days later, he was telling some of the other content creators about this game and how much I had built it up. And they were like, we're gonna grab it. Surprise, surprise, they couldn't find any copies of it. This is not an expensive game. It has never been an expensive game. But it's one people just don't know exists. I was heavily collecting back then, and I never knew it existed. It's a must-have. It's one of the most fun RPGs I've played in like the last 15 years, and I absolutely love it. You need to grab this one. I'm sure it still is cheap, but I don't know for how much longer. Now, the Wii does one thing better than any other console I know, and it's really the only console that does it this well. And that's light gun shooters, or on-rail shooters. Games like arcade games, or games where you need a zapper. The Wiimote is perfect for that, has a whole bunch of peripherals that make it even better. And let me tell you about one of the most unique ones on the system. It's Ghost Squad. I used to play this game in the arcade back when I was in college. It was kind of a later arcade release, but it's one of those games you know where it has like machine guns, you walk up to it in a big screen and you blast all this stuff. Fantastic arcade game. And I had no idea that it came out on the Wii. I saw some list online of all the best light gun games you had to get on the Wii, and Ghost Squad made the list. I went to my local GameStop. They had a copy of it for 99 cents. This copy, my copy, was 99 cents. I grabbed it, brought it home, and that weekend I played through it like 10 times. I had a great time with this game. You can play it with your friends. There's a bunch of like unlockable outfits, a bunch of cool scenarios. It's really zany and wacky, even though it looks kind of serious. It's a blast to play. I told everybody I knew about it. The guys I played with wanted to go grab copies, but they couldn't find any. They go on eBay. I might have paid 99 cents for mine, but it was like $15 by that point. Now, I don't know how much it is now. I specifically don't look up these games because I don't want to be influenced by the price and just pick like high-end games. But I have spent the last 2 years running around getting every light gun game on the freaking Wii. Every one of them. Every vendor, I asked them if they have it. I had a list in my pocket of all of them. I'm combing through their light gun games. You know what I haven't seen? Ghost Squad. Anywhere. I haven't seen it anywhere. Some of the like $80, $90 light gun games, you see those over and over again. But Ghost Squad, the 99-cent game, where is it? It is a lot of fun. If you're a collector and you like the light gun games, you need to get all of them on the Wii, and this is one of the ones you gotta have. Everybody knows that the Wii's perfect for this. Everybody knows I love shoot 'em ups, and any one of these videos I do, I'm gonna try to talk about a shoot 'em up because I think it's one of the purest and coolest freaking game genres there is. I remember looking up all of the shooters on the Wii, and there's one I had not heard of, and I went on Amazon right then and bought a copy of it, and it's Blastworks, and this is a special game. It reminds me a little bit of a shoot 'em up mix with that game 3D Dot Game Heroes. As you like blow up enemies, they fracture into pieces. And you gather the pieces, the debris, and like use it to construct your ship into a bigger ship, a more powerful ship. Your building is your playing, which is such a unique idea and makes this a lot of fun. It also has like a game editor in it where you can build your own levels and enemies and test them out, almost like Mario Maker that's a shoot 'em up. Back before Mario Maker was even a thing, the game plays really well. It's a lot of fun. It's unique and just like it has unlimited possibilities. You can play it forever, but just nobody talks about it. People forget that it's a shoot 'em up. They think it's a building game, but no, it's a shoot 'em up. And if you know anything about shoot 'em ups, people that like them, they buy pretty much every one of them that comes out. It feels like a guaranteed thing that when a company puts one out, you're just gonna have a built-in audience. It's just gonna buy them no matter what. I'm one of those people. I know, I had to buy this. I just think people don't know this is a shoot 'em up because it doesn't look like it from the cover. I mean, look at it. It's got this right in the middle of it. Freaking build, trade, destroy. It looks like a kid's game. And maybe it is, but it's a must-have on the system. If you don't own it, you should definitely go out and grab it. You should probably grab all these before the freaking resellers get in there and, you know, drive up the prices on them. Well, if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. Do that for me. Subscribe to the channel, give me a like, leave me a comment, hype the video. The names you see on the screen, well, those are my channel members and my Patreon supporters. For as little as 99 cents a month, you get the videos early, you get member exclusive videos. If you want to pay a little bit more, you can get your names in the video. You can pick a game for me to play, or you can even sponsor a segment of a video. I couldn't do it without my Patreon supporters, my channel members. I appreciate you so much. I'll catch you guys in the next one.